Welcome back, everyone, to the Steven and Steven Show. I'm Steven.
I'm Steven.
Finger guns.
I don't know. It just happened. I'm so sorry.
It's all right. Unexpected sabbatical from the Steven and Steven Show.
Life happens.
Bro, life happened to me last week. So that was, to all our listeners, blame Steven. Don't blame Steven.
That's
It was
true.
Steven's fault.
That's true. But we're in this together. So
we are in this together.
Let's just say that it was Steven's fault.
It was Steven's fault, definitively. I picked up a new responsibility last week, and it was not something I did not realize it was going to be as chaotic as it was. But I am now a head basketball coach.
Oh,
to a bunch of second grade children. I am coaching my son's basketball team, and we had practice last week. And I want to just be very blunt by saying, I don't think most of these kids have ever seen a basketball, let alone played basketball. And I thought we would be able to implement like a few things here and there, and maybe let's try a play or two. No, not at all.
No,
they're all COVID pandemic children. So they all skipped a year of development at the first grade level. And now I have 14 of them. First off, 14 is way too many kids.
That's way too many kids. How are you going to
second grade basketball?
Okay, because here's the thing about it. Little league parents expect to see their kids play no matter how bad they are. And basketball only lets you have 5 people out at one point in time. So really, like, you're compromising the integrity of the game and your reputation as a coach by not just putting your best 5 out there at any given moment. So
can't do it.
What do you want to do?
Well,
you want to win, or you want to see your kids skip around inbounds and out of bounds?
I don't have a best 5. I have I have 2.5.
Oh, is your son one of them? Be honest.
My son is one of them. I'm proud to
praise
say
God.
That. But so we had our first game on Saturday. It was a shrill performance. We lost the game 0-7.
You didn't score a basket the whole game.
We didn't score. So the Nichols Spurs of the city of Riverside are currently sitting at an 0-1 record, and we've yet to hit our first basket. In fairness, the score was 2-0 up until the fourth quarter. So you
guys were really locking down on D
leading into the final frame.
And you guys were really locking down on
out. What did you say again there, bud?
I said you guys were really locking
down. That's what it was a defensive performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were unbelievable on the defensive end. And then in like the last 4 minutes, I actually did draw up a play that they sort of executed out of like a side out of bounds, but they just didn't hit the shot. And then the play, I even called a timeout for it. I was like, oh, I'm really going to put some effort in. I drew it up on the little clipboard. I ran the play.
You did not draw it up.
I super did. It was a triple screen. I had 3 kids line up at the top of the key and set a screen, and then I had Jax throwing the ball in to this other kid who just ran around the triple screen, and he was wide open underneath the basket, and he missed it. And then the other team immediately took the ball, ran down the court, and scored. And then it was 4-0. So yeah, it was.
You were playing for the tie.
Yeah, I was going for it, but then it went the whole game and only scored 2 points, and then they scored like 5 points in the last 3 minutes.
An explosion of offense, one might.
It was an outpouring of offense. But so then I'm in the phase of like trying to like tell the kids, like, it's one thing to tell, like, I want to scope this for you. It's the first game of some of these kids' lives that they've ever played. There's 14 of them. And I don't have to just tell them, hey guys, winning isn't everything. But I also have to tell them, like, don't worry, team, we'll score a basket next week.
Oh, did you play everybody? Did everybody see?
I did. I managed to play everybody. So the rule is you have to play. They require substitutions at 4 minutes. So I had to build out like a rotation and get people through. But I was doing the other thing you don't want to do is you don't want to put all your best players in one group, because then it's 2 more cycles before you have somebody who's able to function back in the game. So I did have to like spread them out a little bit. Yeah. I made sure that I had at least one person who had bounced a basketball before in each group of the rotation.
Are the refs being super generous with like double dribbles and things like that?
Yes. There you can sit like, so every kid double dribbles, every kid travels, every kid guards in the back court. Then you have to wait till they cross half court. So the refs are like, don't dribble, don't double dribble, don't travel, don't travel, don't travel, don't travel. And they blow the whistle. They're like, okay, you did it 19 times. Now it's the other team's ball. Go back to the other side of the court. But they were good. And we actually had, here's another thing. So they don't do 3-pointers. So I'm sure that you're wondering, well, how did they get an odd number? Well, it's very simple, because one of my kids got a technical foul, which I didn't know they could do that in 2nd grade. But
let's talk about this. What drew the tech?
So the child, I'm going to name these kids' names because they're all underage and they're minors. But he shoots it. And I was like, don't do that, bud. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. That's a bad idea all around. And he was like, okay, maybe I won't. Well, then the game went in, and the kid that he was talking about sure was underneath the basket about to shoot. And this little guy just went and just full extension body checked him. So then the referee calls a technical foul, and we have to do the whole thing where we line up and shoot free throws. And now the kid's like, what's going on? Like, he didn't realize how serious of a thing that would be. He just thought, I push him and that's the end of it, because they're all running into each other and they're all just causing commotion and chaos. But then it was like, we have to stop and shoot free throws in 2nd grade. And so that was a real life experience. And my patience was worn pretty thin in that game. That was an oddity, but they did let the kid keep playing. So at least there was that. It's not like he got thrown out or anything. He was like, I didn't know. And they were like, that's fine.
I didn't know that this act of physical violence would be received so poorly here in this 2nd grade basketball league. Props to that kid and his parents.
Yeah. We're 0-1. We have 9 more games to go. I would assume that we're in last place, considering
at least tied for last place. Yeah.
I'm imagining that there were other teams that may have scored. But we'll get there.
It's feasible. Yeah.
We've got practice again this week on Thursdays. I also wonder too, like, they told me I could practice 2 nights a week, and I'm volunteering for this. And I'm like, I gotta be real honest with you guys. I'm not practicing 2 nights a week. Like,
I wouldn't. I mean,
it'll be around 14 8-year-olds twice, and then plus the game. That's 3. Well, I mean, volunteers are heroes, right? They're in their own capacity. I don't want to be that kind of a hero. I'd like to just be like a generous donor, and let it be left at that.
Yeah, I can't see myself enjoying that. But props to you.
What was your first recollection of youth sports that you played? Did you play like in the local YMCA?
I played T-ball.
Okay.
And I was brutally bad. Or Mr. Oso Burrito was the name of our team, which was a local Mexican food restaurant that I believe was shut down because it turned out that they were like serving meat that was not what they advertised it to be.
Like Taco Bell.
No, worse than that.
Wait, your team name was named after a burrito joint?
No, they never. This was before like they had like, the sponsor's name and then like a mascot name. Okay. You just were your sponsor name. So we were Mr. Oso Burrito, and we were really bad, and I was really terrible. I was the worst player on the team. One of my parents was like the manager or the coach or something along those lines. But we had this other coach who did not have a kid on the team, which now raises a red flag to me. As a man in his mid-30s, I'm concerned that there was a man coaching T-ball that didn't have a kid associated with the team.
Yeah, that's a little weird. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I mean,
Yeah, it's not. I don't know.
Could you do that in today's day and age? I don't think so.
No.
Hi, I'd like to volunteer for second grade T-ball.
I'm a middle-aged man with a mustache.
Yeah. Do you have any children?
I feel
playing
like his name was.
team? No.
I feel like his name was Pete. I feel like I called him Coach Pete. I feel like that's just even. I don't know. Maybe I blocked that out. There might be some repressed memories there. I need to work out with the therapist.
I played Little League baseball 1 year, and my team name was the Red Legs. And I didn't understand because we had teams that were like the Tigers and the Dodgers and the Yankees and the Braves and the Rangers and the Astros. And then there was the Red Legs.
Red Legs.
Red Legs. And I'm like, why are we?
Did you wear red pants?
Yeah. Yeah. And I was like,
oh, there you go.
Guys, they have the Red Sox. Like, we could just be the Red Sox. Why did you make it the Red Legs?
Terrible misunderstanding. Yeah.
And I got hit by a pitch in like my first game. And then from then on, I hated baseball for the rest of my life. I was like, the Red Legs, and I've been hit by a pitch. I'm done here.
What a bummer. Speaking of baseball, man, I think we're going to miss games.
I think so too. You guys are pretty far apart on a dollar amount here.
Yeah. And a lot of this stuff, it's like,
who do you blame?
And I blame the owners. Yeah. But I also blame the players. I don't know. It's like billionaires want to make more billions and millionaires want to make more millions. And the millionaires are making the billionaires rich, but the billionaires are paying the millionaires. Yeah. And I just don't know where we're missing it, to be honest with you. I know there's a lot of issues about free agency, about minimum salaries for rookie contracts, the length of rookie contracts. All of it is just kind of it seems like the pettiest thing in the world to me sometimes, because I'm like, just shut up and go play the children's game you get paid more money for than the freaking entire executive branch of our government.
It seems a little bit like the players are biting the hand that feeds them.
It does, but at the same time, like, the owners only have that hand because they have these players. I mean, like, you have a team because of your players. You can't play replacement players. That's just not an option. You only have
Keanu Reeves was a great quarterback.
Yeah, you only have the option of playing these players that you pay millions of dollars. And the players, I'm like, what's so broken about your system? I will say minor league baseball is disgusting. It's broken. It's jacked up. You got guys in double A.
Why do you say that?
So the pay for minor leaguers is terrible. Most minor leaguers have to work another job.
It's like 18,000 a year or something.
It's pretty crazy. Like in double A, you're making like 40 grand a year. Most of them have off-season jobs. It's hard. The difference between the minors and the majors is so insane. The whole baseball, and you're going from like riding on a Greyhound bus at 3 a.m, sleeping in a Rhodes motel, to the next day you're called up to the big leagues and you're flying on a private jet and you're staying in 5-star hotels and eating, steak and salmon and sushi. Like, it's just, you're at Burger King one night and you're at the Plaza the next when you get called up. It's just, the disparity is really alarming. But I think the disparity is alarming because, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just Googled this. Triple A players had a salary increase to $700 minimum per week. So if you played a month of football, that's $2,800 in Triple A. So that roughly rounds out to, not good, 34 a year.
It's not good. No.
And that's if you play like every week.
But they only play, 6 months out of the year.
Yeah. So you're not even making, like
15 grand. Yeah.
Double A players go $600 a week, and single A plays $500 a week. How good is a single A baseball player?
Not very good.
If we tried really hard for like 6 months could we maybe get a spot on a single A baseball team?
I could, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think so. I think I'm still there. I think I've still got it, but who knows?
Yeah.
The hard part is you have such a disparity
Make more
in the
in
minor
college.
league. You do. I mean,
Yeah.
with NIL now, like there are college athletes like J.R. Smith, the college golfer. Bro,
which credit to him, 4.0 GPA.
The first time I read when I read that article, I had to like look and see is this the Onion? Is this the Babylon Bee? I was so confused
the duffel bag
by what's happening here. No,
yeah.
J.R. Smith
he
went back to college, post NBA career. Of course, he's got all the money in the world. Yeah. What do you want to do? I want to be a collegiate golfer. And apparently he's good.
He's not bad. he's literally playing golf in college, and he's like a 4.0 student.
Did he walk on, or does he have a scholarship? Surely he's walk on, right? Like he's not taking a scholarship.
No, imagine you're sitting in the admissions office and J.R. Smith walks in to fill out a financial aid packet. I'd like to apply for the scholarship.
Hi, I'd like to request a loan.
Can I get a student loan?
Yeah. Do you guys have Stafford loans? Are these subsidized or unsubsidized? My gosh.
Yeah, good for JR.
That really was one of the funniest stories about. Yeah, but that's the thing. And I don't know what the NBA G League looks like, if it's comparable to the minor leagues, but
no, it's actually significantly better. Let me see. G League salary here. Like now
this is why we need a producer.
Yeah, a typical salary for G League player is $37,000 a year, and that's like the G League's only like 5 months too, so that's actually pretty good money, all things considered. Of course, you can get a two-way contract.
Yeah, but here's the thing: those guys, like, okay, you make 37 grand in the G League, but it's not like you can just in the off season go like work in an office somewhere, because no company is going to be like, oh yeah, we'll let you. Take 5 months off to go play basketball, and they're training and they're doing whatever they can to get a competitive advantage. And I'm telling you, I mean, but it's the craziest thing where money comes from and goes in this country, because these owners are making billions off of these ad dollars for TV contracts. Now, like, I can't even watch a Mavs game on Bally Sports Southwest. I can't watch a Rangers game because my live TV provider, Hulu, does not have Bally Sports, which this is the biggest crime in America. Forget January 6th. This was my breaching of the Capitol.
It is. This is where it all breaks down now. You can actually, there's a lot of different ways that they do things in the NBA G League. So you have you can get a two-way contract, which is like $125,000 for the year. That's less than like the league minimum, which I think the league minimum is almost $1 million. Like if you just sign a league minimum. But if you're a two-way player means that you cannot be, you have to play, you can play in the NBA, but no more than for 45 days. And then you have to be sent back down to the G League. So basically they use it for a team to like have, if they were to run out of roster spots, or maybe like half their guys get COVID, instead of them having to go sign a player for the whole year and pay them whatever that $1 million is, they have a two-way guy that they can call up, play him until everybody gets healthy, and then they can send him back down whenever he's done, and he gets a bigger salary. But they also have like select players on the G League, and that's where things are really starting to get interesting. Like now you're seeing, who's this kid? Well, Jalen Green, who plays for the Rockets, and Kuminga, Jonathan Kuminga of the Warriors, they were like the first two guys that bypassed college, and they went and signed like $1 million contract to go play in the G League, and then they got drafted into the NBA right out of the G League. So I think that's actually amazing, because if you're trying to be a professional basketball player, like they're literally paying you to be a professional basketball player, even though you're in the development program of that career field. So Why don't we have that in other career fields?
But the thing is we've seen this. There's a couple of guys playing who didn't go to college. They played pro like in other countries, and it seems like they're more equipped to succeed in the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
As much as I hate to say it, like LaMelo's good.
Yeah,
and
he is. He played in Australia and Lithuania before he ever came here.
Yeah, I mean, Luka's great. Like
those foreign leagues, though.
Kid's been playing for Real Madrid since he was what, 15, 16, like
13.
Yeah. See, yeah.
A professional basketball player since he was 13.
Do you know any 13-year-olds?
I have like a 2 or 3 in my life. I wouldn't trust him with a slingshot.
Imagine that kid being your starting point guard on a professional team. And there are people in Spain who are like, hey man, you know what?
You gotta check out this 13.
My team just signed a 7th grader, and I think he's gonna lead us to a FIBA championship.
Yeah.
That's man, Europe be like crazy to me. I don't know.
So how old is Luka right now? So he's 22 right now in the year of 2022. So 7 years ago, he was 15. And he won the FIBA International Cup Championship. And he was also the EB Next Generation Tournament MVP. He was the Liga ACV. This is the good one. So this was 4 years ago. He's 22. So at 18 years old, he won the EuroLeague MVP and the EuroLeague Championship. And EuroLeague is considered to be the second best, like, professional sports league in the world. Another thing that a lot of these guys do is, especially if they're in the G League, they play and then the G League season ends and then they go play overseas and finish out in like the Chinese league or the Australian league, because those run longer. Those run shorter.
Different times of the year too, right?
And they go make that money. And then the thing is, those leagues usually end around February, and there's a deadline in the NBA that says, I want to say it's like March 1st or March 3rd. It's always like that first Thursday in March. But whatever that deadline is, that is what's called the, I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically the last day that a team can sign a player who can be eligible to play in a playoff roster. And so what you see is these guys that will start the NBA season in the G League. The G League ends, then they go overseas and play in China, and they do like the playoffs. And then after the Chinese league comes over, they sneak in right before that, like March 1st or March 3rd deadline. And then some team gives them like a minimum deal for the rest of the season. And the next thing you know, they're playing in the NBA playoffs. And it's like,
they're making their money.
You're making your money. And if you play overseas, man, they pay you like a king. Look at the Gasol brothers, Marc Gasol. The Lakers were like, hey man, you want to come back and play on a veteran minimum for the Los Angeles Lakers? He was like, no, I'm going to go back to Barcelona, and they're going to pay me about $60 million to take pictures every day and like wave at people. Yeah, it's not 60 million, but he got like a ridiculous contract, and that's where he's at. He's just like, no, I'm going to go live out my twilight years and just live like a king.
Have you heard about the North Korean basketball rules?
Yes, and I actually love them. Yes.
So do I, and I think it would make the NBA infinitely more entertaining. The 4-point shots, it's like everything within the last 2 minutes or 30 seconds or some crazy like end of the game or end of the period.
I just pulled them up. Let's read these one at a time. This is so good. Slam dunks are worth 3 points.
Love it.
Why would we not do that? Everybody in the NBA shoots threes all day long.
If that were Shaq, would be the world's all-time. He'd be the all-time leading scorer in history if dunks were worth. And now Giannis would be the leading scorer in the league 10 times over. Have you ever played 3K with Giannis?
It's unstoppable.
You need to not run plays. You just grab the ball off the rebound, sprint down the side of the floor, get to the lane, and put your elbow in the rim. And you score 70 points. It's my favorite thing. Okay, dunks worth 3.
3-point shots are awarded 4 points if the ball doesn't touch the rim. So if you make a perfect swish, it's worth 4 points. So Steph Curry.
Yeah, never mind. Yeah, Steph still would be the leading scorer in the league.
Oh, I love this one. 1 point is deducted for every missed free throw shot.
That is brilliant.
Are you telling me that would be
absolutely
awesome? If you
brilliant.
missed a free throw, your team loses
and that
a
means
point?
Shaq would definitely have not been the leading scorer in the league.
That's right. He would have.
Do you know how many hack-a-shacks we would have done? I mean, like, I ran live stats for a Division I program. Did the StatCast input for ESPN and everything for 3 years, and keeping track of those things in real time is insane. I mean, I had coaches yelling at me to give them updated stat sheets, like, they want to know how somebody's field goal. I mean, it was crazy. They were getting my live feed, and there were times that they thought I was wrong, and I'd get a very stern talking to at halftime about whether or not he got that shot off before the buzzer and how it was affecting his 3-point percentage. But like, you heave it from, half court. You absolutely. Sure. You missed it, bud. Like, it counts against you. Yeah.
By the way, that's one of my favorite.
Go ahead.
It's one of my favorite things in the NBA. If you watch at the end of games, whenever the game is like over and they're just letting the clock run out, who they give the ball to on the very last play, because that guy always gets the turnover. And so they always end up giving it to some rookie or some like scrub on the team. They're like 3, 2, 1, and then they pass it to him at the last second so that he gets the turnover. Those are always my favorite.
I was once gently reminded that one of our players was approaching a school record for rebounds, and so if it was close, I needed to make sure that he was the one awarded dead balls and things like that. And I was like, no, we don't know.
We're not fudging stats here.
If he wants a rebound, he can chase it down. Like, and I said that to an assistant coach who I thought was going to backhand me, but I was like, listen, the integrity of the game is important here at this, this in the Summit League. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. There's 2 more rules out of the North Korean rule.
Okay.
This one is a little bold. I don't know how I feel about it. It would really change things and make it interesting. Any field goal made in the last 3 seconds of the game is worth 8 points. Can you imagine if it's the last 3 seconds of a game and somebody makes a layup?
If we're down by 7, we've got a shot.
Yes. Does that not make the whole thing interesting? Also, who's going to sit there and wait for the clock to run down to 3 seconds instead of taking that shot at like 7 seconds?
Everybody. And then don't you just foul them and hope that they...
Oh, yeah.
Where can I watch North Korean basketball? Because I'm so intrigued right now.
Here's the last one. Games cannot end in a tie. Or excuse me, games can end in a tie.
Oh. So,
and if it gets this is the weird part. NBA finals ending in a tie, both teams would be proclaimed the champions.
Oh no. Oh heck no.
Yeah, we're
under no circumstances. Like, this is the United States of America, buddy. We will have a winner.
We gotta have a winner. Well,
even if every player fouls out, and at the end of the day,
the managers have to get out there.
Yeah,
the equipment managers have to play one-on-one.
Yeah, you've got Jason Kidd out there going one-on-one with Greg Popovich, like playing a game of horse. Like, we will have a winner. Like
I would pay good money to see Jason Kidd and Greg Popovich play a game of horse. Loser walks home.
Hey, I was wrong about Jason Kidd, man.
Yeah, he's been pretty good for them, huh? Why? I heard the Mavericks have like the 4th best defense in the NBA. I don't know what that's about.
Don't know where that came from. From a team that's been called the Alice Mavericks all my life.
Yeah, no D. I feel you.
Yeah.
So speaking of ties,
yes,
I'm curious to know what your thoughts are I don't know if you've watched any NFL over the past 2 weekends. The NFL
Oh
playoffs
God.
are afoot. Ever since your boys got eliminated.
Don't
Um,
even start.
but I'm curious. So we got a lot of games go to overtime.
A lot,
And
yeah.
and there's a lot of talk about the overtime rules. So the one that stood out the other day was the Bills were playing. Who were the Bills playing? The Chiefs? I think they were playing the Chiefs.
I don't
But
really know.
yeah. Anyways, the guy they do the coin toss, and Josh Allen never the Chiefs get the ball. So Josh Allen never gets the ball after he had just scored whatever it was, X amount of touchdowns to force overtime. Then he goes and sits on the bench. And the way the rule is
Watches
set
his
up
team
is
lose. Yeah.
the way the rule
So
set
the
up is
coin toss, basically.
if you score a touchdown on your opening drive, then the game is over. If you kick a field goal, the other team gets a chance to have a ball. Now, that was in danger of being in jeopardy again yesterday with the Chiefs and the Bengals. However, the Chiefs actually ended up punting, giving the ball back to the Bengals, and then the Bengals
Joe
won the
freaking
game.
Burrow, baby. Joe freaking Burrow.
Joe Beasy. I love it. I don't know how I feel about this rule. I don't know that I like.
I think
this idea
overtime
that,
in the NFL has been broken for a very long time to me, and
yeah.
college gets it right. So I don't know why we can't just do the
Now,
same
what's
thing
college?
in NFL.
I forget how college does, like, you get it from the 20 or 25.
Yeah, both teams get a possession, and you play until I think it's 4 or something like that. No, I'm not a football guy, so but I was in college at a 3 overtime game in which we went for 2 for the win in like overtime number 3 and won. But yeah, you get the ball at the, I don't know where it is, but basically you got to score. You got to score, but everybody gets an opportunity to score. So you don't have MVP candidates left on the bench watching their defense blow a season.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I can't believe that would ever be an option, to not allow a team the opportunity to score based on a coin flip. I definitely think that needs to be
Hey,
I think that needs to be remedied.
How do you feel about Tom Brady retiring?
How did he retire? I'm hearing mixed reports right now about the GOAT. I think his dad came out and was like, it's so wrong that you guys would take this before you've heard it from him. So is he retired? He's probably retired, right? I mean, the guy's 44 years old.
There was talks he was going to play till he was 50. The guy's a freak of nature. He's the greatest of all time, right? Like, there's no debating he's the greatest to ever do it.
Well, who would be the other? Who's the other people in the room?
Joe Montana. I mean,
yeah.
Maybe Dan Marino. Yeah, Brett Favre. But it's like, how do you
I don't know
measure
who I would legitimately say is better than him.
How do you measure success as an NFL quarterback? To me, it's the single most important position on a team in all of sports. You just simply, you don't win without a quarterback.
You can't.
It's not like, I mean, you can look at every other professional sports, look at their championship team, and you can say this was our best player, but he may not be playing that position. And your point guard doesn't have to be your best player. I mean, you're a Spurs fan, I mean, he's important, but he's not. He doesn't have to be the guy. You can win a championship with Avery Johnson.
Yeah,
you don't
with
need
Rajon Rondo.
Yeah, you don't need to have somebody who is, you don't need Magic. You don't need Chris Paul. You don't need an all-time great, even the best in the league. You don't even need the best point guard in the league to win a championship. I'd actually, I mean, if you look back at the last, I don't know, however many NBA champions, like, show me one whose best player was their point guard. And that would, you'd
have to go back a ways.
That's the quote unquote quarterback of your basketball team.
Right.
In baseball, it's way different, of course, but I think you're looking at somebody who's like your catcher, maybe your shortstop, somebody who's really, really important playing both ways, with the bat and with the glove. And you can't, I mean, a lot of catchers are really terrible offensive players. So to me, the football is the sport where unequivocally this is the most important position on any team. You can't get away with, I mean, I think there have been maybe a handful of Super Bowl winning quarterbacks who have not been, all pros for their teams. Yeah. I mean, but Kurt Warner was freaking good when he was playing.
Yeah, he was. I think where I get hung up on this is like, to me, he's the greatest because of the totality of his career and what went into it. I do think there's been better quarterbacks. I think there's been quarterbacks who have done maybe more impressive things over the course of like a single season. Like I remember that the first time I ever saw Michael Vick play for the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh God! And remember when Madden came out with Michael Vick, and it was basically a cheat code.
Yeah, you just ran a quarterback bootleg, and you could,
because you had to make him like a 99 speed.
Yeah,
which meant he was faster than everybody on the defense. And so you just ran a bootleg every single time. I remember playing games of Madden where the final score, like I skunked whoever, and Michael Vick had like 800 rushing yards, not even lying.
Yeah. We eventually had to make a rule that like if you played Madden, you couldn't play with the Falcons.
It was a cheat code. It was a built-in cheat code.
Unstoppable. Yeah. Patrick Mahomes has done some pretty incredible things. I've seen him.
He's a kid, man. He
is, but I look at it too, and I'm like, yeah, he's got another 10, 15 in him.
If he's that good for that long.
If he's that good for that long.
The fact that Brady is in the MVP conversation this year, though.
I mean, he's 44. He's been for 25 years. Yeah. 25 years. This guy's
absolutely insane. And the fact that he won a championship. He won a championship at 43. Times. At 43. He was the best player on a team that won a championship as a 43-year-old man in a sport that is every year getting younger, getting faster, getting stronger. These guys on NFL teams are basically like they're aliens. They're cyborgs out there. Like they're bigger and faster than any other professional athletes. I mean, you have like 11 guys with like LeBron James athleticism.
Yeah.
It's insane to me. Like the amount of athleticism. There's guys here in the DFW market who have done a radio show for years and years, the Ben and Skin show. Shout out to Ben and Skin.
Yeah, Ben and
What
Skin.
Up, boys? And Ben Rogers of the Ben and Skin show has long held this theory that professional athletes are just so, we have no concept of how good they are at the most random things. Yeah. Because he said, I promise you, any player in the NBA could go out and be the best player on 99% of baseball and football teams in the world. And any player in the NFL could probably be the best player on 99% of basketball teams, like not the NBA. And baseball doesn't even require athleticism. So I don't even, I mean, it's these guys are freaks.
I saw a video the other day of Justin Herbert, who's a quarterback for the Chargers. Chargers? Yeah.
Oh, who knows?
He was playing pickup ball, and he was like dunking effortly.
Yeah,
like he was. He wasn't even like trying to. And like in the game, he's just like playing, and I'm just like he's 6'6", whatever he is. He could just dunk. I'm like, oh, okay, I forget. Like there was 1%.
There was video pretty recently. Jason Witten is a high school coach of a Christian school here in DFW. And there was some video recently of him just kind of like out there. I mean, he's been retired for however many years now, just kind of out there casually like hooping it up. And the guy's a freak, man. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's absolutely insane. Yeah. Yeah. But the fact that Brady did what he did for as long as he did, I don't think we'll ever see it again. I don't think we'll ever see it again.
That's what I'm trying to think. I mean, you have some people that are going to say Montana. I'm sure you're going to have some people that say Marino. I personally think Michael Vick was otherworldly.
He was a game changer of an athlete, but remember, he also killed some dogs.
Yeah, there was that thing. Tom Brady deflated some footballs. Michael Vick.
And that's the other thing. People, poison. Was he a cheater?
Oh, I've been waiting to bring this up. This is a great point going back to baseball. So yeah, does that go into his greatness? Barry Bonds. Is he in the Hall of Fame? Does he deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
He absolutely should be.
Now, let me tell you this. This is my pitch for Barry Bonds to be in the Hall of Fame. And the same would go for Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, which I don't know if those guys are in the Hall.
And Roger Clemens and A-Rod and all those guys who were dirty.
All these guys that juiced. Look, it's the Hall of Fame. I did not know who Sammy Sosa was or Mark McGwire was until that season where they were both like, going yard every other. Like, I remember tuning in to a Cubs game just to watch Sammy Sosa because there's a good chance he might hit 3 home runs in this game.
Yeah.
Or the same with Mark McGwire. Like, it's a very, like, they made it famous. Like, I remember Barry Bonds being like, Barry Bonds, I used to have his baseball card. He used to be like 200 pounds, right? Now he's like 370.
He's freaking yoked.
And he's 38 years old. And every time he touches the ball, it goes over the fence.
The average human being has no idea what it takes to hit a major league home run.
No.
There is a white ball
even if you're
this
juiced,
big coming at you 95 miles per hour.
Yeah, I could.
And the amount of reflexes and hand-eye coordination you would have to have just to freaking make contact is unreal. Never mind the fact that these guys are throwing the ball in a way that's moving. It's not just like coming straight at you. It's not like you can just swing in one spot, and if you get the timing right, it's down. You've got to track the ball. The hand-eye coordination on major league players is elite. Okay.
Yeah.
To make contact requires a skill, requires next level skill. To hit it into the outfield requires a certain amount of human strength that the average person is not acquainted with. To hit it over a fence 400 feet away is godlike in a lot of ways. Barry Bonds did it 73 times in one season.
Yeah, that's
73 times.
How many games are in a season?
162.
So basically every other game he was hitting a home run.
Right. That's and for his career, he hit it. He did that close to 800 times.
That's nuts. That's nuts.
And you're telling me he's not one of the best to ever play? The other thing you got to consider, look, this is my soapbox. Thank you for bringing this up. You also, can you explain?
I love it. I'm so excited about this.
Okay, so he was juicing. So was the guy throwing the ball.
Yep.
It's not like one had more of an advantage over the other.
I mean, in the 90s and in the 2000s, especially in the 2000s, like, come on, dude. Everybody was juicing, right?
Were the stats inflated? Absolutely. The statistics were inflated because we played in the juiced era. But I'm here to tell you, like, that means very, very little to me. Because at the end of the day, everybody was doing it.
Yeah. Like it evened everything out.
It's like saying that it's like saying Michael Jordan his career wasn't as good because of the hand check.
Oh, I hate that argument so much. I hate that argument because the hand check, so what? Like, the game's faster and stronger now anyways. Like, you can find an excuse for any of it. I think it goes to what your era is about.
And I don't think that you can compare players from era to era. I really don't. No, I don't think that is. I don't think it's fair.
It gets really dangerous when you do that. And I think there's truth to the fact that, like, I mean, obviously the 60s, like I remember reading Bill Simmons, his book of basketball, just talking about how like teams used to travel, like they would literally travel from like uh Philadelphia to Los Angeles, like 2 days between games. And they would travel like on regular airplanes with like regular people. And so you had guys that are like 6'11" that are riding coach on a cross country flight. And then they get off the plane and they have to play basketball in like 3 hours.
LeBron spends like $6 million a year on his body.
On his body alone. And so does Tom Brady. I think Tom Brady like bathes in avocado toast or something like that. But like LeBron,
and he sleeps
like
with Giselle every night.
Yeah, so, she's given glorious back rubs.
Is that a competitive advantage? Just knowing that you've reached that level of elite. Although Michael Jordan was probably like,
"I'm better than you."
So is that a flex for athletes? You think like my wife's prettier, my kids are smarter?
Yeah, why wouldn't it be? I did hear that one of my favorite sports conspiracy theories, though, is that Michael Jordan had so much gambling debt and was drawing such a bad view on the NBA that David Stern made him retire the first time as like a cooling off period. He was like, "You can come back in a few years."
Bill Simmons 100% believes that.
I know. I love it.
Bill Simmons really is 100% on that conspiracy theory. And you know what? The argument he presents is such that it's not impossible to me. It's not. I'm not insane.
Well, I will say this: Jordan is always going to be my GOAT, but LeBron James is 37 years old. This guy has played 2 decades now, and he is not even like he's got another 5, 6 in him easy.
Oh, easy. 100%. He's going to play with his kid in the league. I think
100%.
I think Bronny will get to the league.
He's going to make the Lakers trade every last asset they have to get him. That's going to be.
You traded Anthony Davis for Bronny straight up. Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's what LeBron wanted. That's what 43-year-old LeBron wanted.
Yeah. And I feel like LeBron's the kind of petty who he's like, Brady played till he was 44. I'm going to 45.
Yeah, just out of principle. I do think he's going to leave again. I think it's really like, I don't know that he's going to finish in LA. I mean, he has gutted that franchise for every asset they have. If you're a Laker fan right now and you're listening to this, I'm not trying to attack you. I think LeBron is in it for himself, and they don't have a draft pick till like 2027.
But you know what they do have? Russell Westbrook.
and they're like, who wants to take on Russell Westbrook?
We just can't have nice things. Like they can't have nice things. Like, no draft picks, but you get Westbrook. You found a player the fans really like Alex Caruso. No, he's gone. But we can have Carmelo Anthony.
Well, I thought
and Dwight Howard is back.
Anthony on the veteran minimum. So good. I always think too, I mean, to their credit, they do get number 1 draft picks. They just get them like 13 years down the road.
Guys, we've got 6 number 1 picks on this team.
6 number 1 picks.
Yeah, dating back to 2003.
That's right. Oh man. This was a sports episode. I don't know that it meant to be a sports episode, but we started it off talking about Little League basketball, and now here we are. We've done an entire episode about sports.
I like it. I do want to follow up because you finished Succession.
Yes. Let's end here. It's in Succession. Yeah.
Now I'm not fully finished yet, but I will say.
How many more episodes do you have?
I think like 3.
Okay.
I just finished the shareholder meeting episode, which I don't know if it was intended to be as funny as I found it, but the old man having a UTI and fully losing his mind, like, just cracked me up.
That's kind of good, right?
And then Roman having the call with the president. I was like,
yeah,
we are at a new level of comedy to me right now. I'm also really enjoying the dynamic between Logan and Tom. I think it is elite. I think it is one of my favorite things. Because Tom's trying so hard. He's trying so hard with Shiv. God knows. I mean, I'm growing to love Tom so much.
I'm really glad to hear you say that. I want to be very careful of my words. Now, I don't care about the spoilers for our listeners because Succession has technically been over for quite a few months now. Fair. But I don't want to ruin it for you. And I would like to revisit that statement in a week. So I'm going to put
I will finish this week.
But remember that you said you really like Tom.
Okay.
I will say this. Did you watch Ozark? Are you in
No, Ozark? It's on my list, but
yeah, it's on my list. Yeah. So I bring it up because Ozark has a very incredible cliffhanger that it ends season 3 on, I think. And Succession.
Season 4 is what's out now, right?
Yeah, season 4, part 1.
Oh, are you telling me there's a cliffhanger at the end of season 3 of Succession?
I would not say it's a cliffhanger. It's a little bit of a cliffhanger because you don't know where the story is going to go. But I remember when we finished Ozark season 3, my wife and I sat and looked at each other in silence for about 2 minutes while the credits rolled, and we couldn't say anything. We couldn't process what we had just witnessed. And I was like, that's got to be one of the best season endings I've seen. And Succession was an OMG WTF just happened type moment. I will tell you that Tom is involved. And I'm not giving away anything more than that, but now we have to talk about this next week.
Okay, wait. I do have to say my favorite moment of that episode I just watched of Succession, the shareholders meeting, was Greg trying to sue his grandpa and talking about like what the options were because he wrote him out of his will to give all the money to Greenpeace. Yeah. I love Greg.
I mean, this isn't giving
I'm obsessed with Greg.
Yeah. So Greg is a cringe character. Greg eventually, again, this is not giving away anything to the show, but Greg eventually sues Greenpeace because they took his inheritance.
Love him so much. He's like 6'8". I just love him so much. Yeah.
He's
just the biggest, the gangliest looking man I've ever seen.
And so out of place for that family.
Well, let me ask you this. Are you still Team Kindle after the end of the season?
Oh, that's a great question. So since I told you that I was Team Kindle, almost immediately after I told you I was Team Kindle, I ceased being Team Kindle. Almost 2 episodes after I told you that. And now where it stands today, I am back on Team Kindle. He is an emotional roller coaster, bro. And I think you'll understand whenever you watch it. There's a lot
when you were off of Team
Kindle, 3 episodes of
when you were off Team Kindle, when you were off Team Kindle for that moment, which team did you move to?
Yeah.
Where did you move to Team? I mean, there's a part of me that's always Team Roman,
I just don't think that Roman has the competency level to really run that organization. And I think Shiv is a little bit of a, I don't know. Sure. She's like half in, half out. Like she hasn't been a part of the family company for so long. And now but suddenly she wants to be the CEO. Like, I'm like, how does that work? I've never really been her. I got to be honest with you. When I went off of Team Kindle, little part of me went on Team Logan.
What? Really?
I was with Papa Bear for a minute.
All right. I'm literally going to go watch an episode right now. So
you have to.
I will do my best. And this was a great episode about sports. I just like that we don't really plan what we're going to talk about, and it just ends up turning into what it turns into. That's why we have literally dozens of listeners.
Literally dozens, like at least 4. And if you're one of those 4 dozen listeners, thanks for listening. We're so glad that you took some time to chat with us today. Don't forget to follow us Instagram, the two Stevens. And you can follow us on Twitter at the Hailstone and at Steven Shelton. Yeah, so that's it. It was a good episode. And thanks for listening. Okay, bye.
Bye.